Welcome back. This is A-Level Computer Science 9618 paper 2. This is part 6, and today in this video we are going to understand about filing. Okay, so we will start with text files. So text file, which means you are creating a file and you are storing data into that file. Okay, so text file comes in data structure. It comes in data structure that you are manipulating the data. Alright, so you are creating a file and you want to store your data into that file. So this is really a very useful application when it comes to when if you are a game developer, and for example you are playing a game and you want to save all of your progress, so you are saving it, so it's saved into that file. Or you are working on Microsoft, and you want to save all of your progress, so it is saved in a file. Okay, loading or saving, overwrite, it's it comes in it comes in files. Okay, so there are three options. You are reading a file, you're reading the data, you are reading the data from a file. Okay, so that is the meaning of read. Write means that you are creating a file, or for example if that file is already been created, you are overwriting that data, overwriting it. Like for example, a file is already been created and it has some data, but you are either, if that data is if that file is already exists and you are using this mode, then you are overwriting it. You are starting from the beginning, you are completely overwriting, you are deleting all of the data and starting from the beginning. Or if that file doesn't exist, then it creates a new file. Okay, that's the meaning of write. Append means that you are starting from where you have left. For example, you have saved your progress and you want to start where you want to start. For example, you have saved this data, right? And now if we use this mode, then you will start from here where you have left off. Okay, and then you will keep on continuing, keep on saving the data. So these are the modes for filing text files. Okay, so this is VB. I have taken a screenshot, and what I have done here is I have, first of all, I am opening a file. Okay, and I need to choose either one of the three modes. The three modes are, either it is output, or it could be input, or it could be append. So if I choose output, that means that I am creating a file. I am creating a file. You can call it write, you can call this, this is the mode for this. I'm creating a file, or if that file already exists, for example the file name is name to store.txt. If this file already exists, then it will overwrite it. Okay, another option is, if the name of this file doesn't exist, then this will create this file. Okay, so this is the meaning of this is the meaning of output write mode. Okay, so now what I have done here, I have created this file, and now I want to store some data. So I need a variable. Okay, so I have just declared this dim, declare input as string, and having this space. I have declared this. Okay, now I'm going to, let's start from here. Now I'm going to take an input. I'm going to take any data. Input is equal console.readline input, giving an input of anything in the form of string. Okay, if input is not equal to stop, then print line, then this input will be saved in the file. It will be written in the file. Okay, and one means that this is the file number one. You can create so many files, like for example this is file number 1, and I have opened another file number 2. Okay, so print line file number 1 input. So I have taken a data, and I am trying to write that data into a file. Since I have taken this option, which is write option, I am writing it into a file. Okay, so this is a conditional statement, and this is the loop. While input is not equal to stop, it will keep on continuing. Once I have written stop, then this will get out from the loop, and then file will be closed. Okay, so file open. I have put the name of the file, that this is the file that I want to create, or if that already exists, then it will overwrite it and start from the very beginning, from a fresh page. Okay, open mode, either I can take the mode as write, input, or append. Output, either output, input, and append. Output means write option, write mode, this one. Okay, input means read mode, and append means append. Okay, so what I have done here, that I'm trying to create a file, or if that file already exists, then I'm overwriting it, and then I'm trying to store the data into that file. So I have already stored the data into the file. The file is complete, and now I want to read that file, just to show you what I have stored it. Okay, so again I'm going to open it, file open, to name to store.txt. Okay, it could be file number 1 or 2 or 3, it doesn't matter. Name to store.txt, open mode dot read. Okay, so I'm reading it. While not end of file. Okay, so this is a function. This is a function, a built-in function. Okay, while it is not end of file, while there is not a this function for example, you have opened the file, and there might be a mark where it will give a sign that you have reached the end of the file. You have reached the end of the file. So this is what this function is telling us, that while not end of file, while it is not reaching to the end of file, it will keep on continuing. So while not end of file, console.write line, given an output line input. Line input means that you are taking a line by line. You are taking line by line, and you are given an output on the screen. Okay, so for example, I have read this line, I'm given output. Then read this line, given output. Read this line, given an output. Read this line, given output, until you have reached this. So while not end of file, if it is end of file, then it will come out from the loop. Then console or read line and file close. So what I've done here, I've opened the file. This is the name of the file, open mode dot input, or you can call it read. And while not end of file, while it is not reaching the end of file, it will read each line, first line, second line, third line, and then it will give an output, and until it reaches the end of file, and then file will be closed. File open, file close. And this is the screenshot. First of all, what I have done here. First of all, I have opened the file. This is the name of the file, and I'm writing down. Okay, so type your input, bro. Type in your input, bro. So I have saved these. I have written down these into a file in the write mode, or you can call it output or write mode. Okay, so I have written it down. Then after I've written stop, then it came out from the loop, and the file become closed. Then what I've done, I have opened the file again, and I'm trying to reading the file. So I have reading the file line by line. For example, I have read this line, it will display on the screen. Read this line, display on the screen. Read this line, read this line, read this line, read this line, until there is nothing left, until it reaches the end of file. Okay, So this is read and write, or you can call it read and write. So in pseudocode there are three mode: write, read, and append. Okay, so open file for write, overwriting a file or creating a file, either one or two. If that file exists, then it will overwrite the file. If that file doesn't exist, then it will create a file. Open file name for write, write file name straight string value. So what you are doing here, the name of the file will come here, the name of the file will come here, and the string value that you are open file for write string value. Okay, so you're going to take since you are writing into the file, right? So you must have declared somewhere, right? Declare val as string, and then input val, and then val will come here. Okay, the val will come here. Let me just complete this. I will write it down: input val value, and then I will write it down here, value. So the data which is stored inside value will be written in the file, and then close file. So this is pseudocode actually. This is in VB, this is in pseudocode. So it is in this mode it is output, or in this mode it is write. You're writing a file, or writing a file, or creating a file. Okay, now we are coming to input. Open file this file for read, while not end of file, while the function will return false if the end of the file is not yet reached. Okay, it will this is the function which I've just told you, and it will return false or true, since it will return a boolean if the end of the file is not yet reached, and will return true if the end of the file marker has been reached. Okay, so open file text for read, while not end of file, while it is not end of file, read file text.txt text string. Okay, so now you are reading the file, okay, line by line, and it has been, and then you are storing it in this variable each time. For every line it will be stored in this variable, and then you are outputting, you're giving an output, you're displaying on the screen output text string. So it will keep on continuing until while not end of file. So it will keep on reading the line, and then that line will be stored in here, and then it will give an output. And then what you're going to do, you're going to close the file. Okay, so you are writing a file and you are reading a file. First you need to use the option to create the file and store some text, and then you use the option input read from the file and see what has been stored. Yeah, okay, so this is read and write. Now we are searching, which means, okay, so this is different. If for example, if I want to search a value inside a file, what mode will I use? Obviously I will use the read mode, which means input in VB, but read. Open file for read, you are reading, which means you are searching for a value. You are reading each line by line, and you are storing in this variable, and then you will play with this, etc. So okay, so I'm searching something inside a file. I will open it .input, which means read. Enter what you want to search, the item. Okay, so I have made this variable the item that I want to search for. So I have used this, the item. Okay, now found is equal to false. Do the file line is a line input. Okay, print line, right, you are writing it, but in read you are in read, you are reading something. Line input. Okay, so this is how it is. Print line, which means that you're storing the value inside this variable into the file. Okay, print line this. But if you are reading it, then line input, and then you are taking the value. You are reading the value, the data line by line, and you are giving an output. So line input. Same thing here. You have taken. Okay, so while, so this is a loop. Do loop until end of file, or found is equal to true. So line input, I have stored this into this variable. If the item is equal to this, then found is equal to true. Console or write down you have found it. This is the conditional statement, and it will keep on going until it reaches the end of file, or if found is equal to true. If found is equal to false, if it is reached the end of file and it doesn't, and it didn't find that value, then console or write line, oops, not found, try again later. And if console or read line, and then file closed. Okay, for example, this is what I have made. I have created this file, and enter what you want to search. I am searching for this word, so it's in here, and you have found it, which means I have yeah, so I have, if the item is equal to this and found true. You are reading line by line. You're saving this line input, I mean, so okay, so you are reading line by line, and you are saving in this line input. It will be stored in here. Okay, and then this will be checked. Okay, after saving some text, we can easily search into it by first opening the file for reading and searching for a particular item you want to look until end of file or the item is not found. And then I have this pseudocode. Open file for read file. Yeah, so it will be stored in here, and then you just play with it. Close file. Open file for read while not end of file. Okay, you will always use this whenever you are trying to use this. Whenever you are reading the data from the file, you will always use this. While it is not end of file, keep on reading and keep on reading it. Okay, while not end of file, test.txt, read file test.txt, text string, output test string, and while. Okay, and then you close it. And then we have the append option, that you are editing something. So for example, supposing that, okay, so before I have before append option, I have already created this, right in here. I have already created this using the write mode, in this output mode. I've already created this, and now I'm using the append, which means I'm starting from where I've left off, where I have left. So file open open mode dot append, and this is the name of this file. You type your input, bro, keep on continuing from here, starting from here, start from here. And then I'm just while not it's the same thing as before, as for the same thing as I've done here. The only difference is the mode option. I put output here, which means writing onto the file, and I'm using the append, which means I'm starting from where I've left it. So same thing, this is the end of the day. So I was keep on writing it, and then I have written stop. Okay, so type your input, bro, this is the end of the day, and then stop. So it came out from the loop, and after it came out, I've opened the file again and reading it while not end of file, console or write line and input. Okay, it says I'm just giving it input. So what I've done here, I have append. I've used this option, which is append, starting from where I've left off. So initially this was stored, but then I start from here. This is the end of the day, and I write down stop just to get out from the loop, and then this whole thing has been stored in here. Okay. Then after that, I've just opened another file of the same name, open mod.input, which means reading from a file, while not end of file, console to write line input. So this is what I got. This is the output, same thing. Okay, console dot read line, file close. Yeah, you can, if you want, can edit a file and then save it by the append mode. This is the pseudocode. It's the same thing as for, when you are write, same thing as for the write mode. Open file, file name for append, open file, file name for write file, file name string value that you are writing it into the file, close file. I've added to an existing file, starting from where I've left off. Add the new data to the end of the existing file. Okay, so this is filing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next